Sometimes it really disturbs me when I hear you say things like, I'm sick of that job. Don't you remember about 8 years ago when you got fired from your last job, right? And you ain't know what you was going to do at that point because the jobs in your area wasn't paying that well. So you went to a temp service that was like an hour away from where you lived at. And they had plenty of jobs on the table, but none of them was paying what you needed, to take care of your bills and your family. And then they had one company where the pay was halfway reasonable for your standards at the time. And you told them, I want that job, right? Don't you remember? And now it's like, sometimes you don't like how things is going and you might complain a little bit, but I know deep down inside that you are very grateful for that job because it kind of helped you get to where you are today. You at that same job? Yeah, still at that job. They done switched companies, got new owners, and it seemed to be getting even better than the way it used to be. Sometimes you say to yourself, you're having a good day and you really like that job. And then it's times where they switch the schedule up on you. And you don't really like that job. You might complain here and there, right? Because you're tired and you feel like you're being overworked. But when you get that paycheck, right, it's helping you take care of things. Things like your mortgage, your car note, your personal loans, food, restaurants, just fun days, blowing money, jewelry. The list goes on and on. Where'd you get that money from? You got it from that job, right? I remember where you wasn't consistent. You was living paycheck to paycheck, right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul, borrowing money every other week. All that stopped though when you found that job, right? You gotta really think about it sometimes, man. You was moving around and moving around and moving around, and you kind of been pretty stable for some years now. I think it was that job. Stability, dedication. Man, you met some good people on that job. Sometimes you're able to help others out. Your savings is looking pretty decent. You ever ask yourself, what if you ain't had that job? got to drive a whole hour to get there and an hour to get back. You dedicate 14 hours of your day to that job. You ever think about quitting? Maybe, if you could find something better. But to be honest, you're kind of comfortable at that job. Ain't nobody really on your back. You mastered your craft. You know what you're doing. Nobody really want to start nothing brand new. They ask you, you leaving that job? And what do you say? I don't plan to. You even think about retiring from that job. I mean, you don't really want to have to retire from that job. But if you have to retire, it might as well be at that job. Man, you was renting houses and you was interested in buying a house now because your credit ain't messed up no more. Now you getting approved for home loans. I think it's because of that job. You know? Where'd you get the money from to pay for your down payment, right? To pay your closing fees. What was it? $5,000 you had to put down? What was your closing fee? $6,000? That's a lot of money. You had that money in the bank like that? Nah. You borrowed the money from your 401k, from that job. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say. I can't really agree with you when I hear you complaining about that job. It's 7-something in the morning. Where you coming from right now? That job? Damn. You must really love that job. Man, if it wasn't for that job, man, later for that job. There's plenty of jobs out here. Well, why you ain't go get one? Why you still at that job? Because the truth is, it's not that that job is that bad. You really don't want to work for nobody at all. But if you had to, it might as well be at that job. Look how far you came. Do you think things would be the way that they are now, even if you didn't have that job? I mean, if you ain't had that job, you probably still have a job. But isn't it nice to know that the job you have is that job? Because it's a lot of people out here that's complaining and not happy at their job. They're not happy with their life. I mean, I'm sure they're doing something about it. But some people just go from job to job, to job to job. And they just can't seem to find that job. The one that's going to have them halfway happy. The one that's benefiting them to get up in the morning to go to. The one like you got. You know, it's a bunch of people out filling out applications for that same job. You know how many people want that job? I'll bet you any amount of money, if you left that job, you probably do good for yourself. Because that job taught you work ethic. That job taught you responsibility. That job showed you what it felt like to have some money. That job pretty much changed your life. But you'll probably do good anyway if you didn't have that job. But let's just say if you didn't do good after you left that job. Let's just say things wasn't going your way. I'll bet you any amount of money you'll try to call up to see if it's any openings for that same job. Because you already knew what it was when you was there. Now, I ain't gonna lie, right? I know you're grateful for that job, and I can understand how or what you mean when you say things like, I'm grateful for everything I have in my life. I'm very thankful. I don't want to seem like I'm ungrateful. I just wish that I could get these things that I have and the things that I want without having to be so dedicated to that job. Well, then that's something you got to work on. That's something you got to work on. Because you don't have to rely on only that job. You could do anything you put your mind to, but somehow you just got comfortable on that job. You forgot that that job was supposed to be a stepping stone, temporary. And now, you pretty much tattooed in to that job. And it ain't nothing wrong with that now. Because, like I said, look at the line of people that wish they had that job. Man, I don't know what to say. I bet you any amount of money you wake up Monday morning and get ready to go to that job. You know what it is. I think things gonna work out for you though. I think one day you're gonna be able to live out the rest of your life without having to go to that job. I think that's gonna happen for you one day. I'm gonna take you back, because I bet you don't remember this. When you was with your ex and she left you for dead in that house, knowing that you couldn't afford to pay the bills because you was only working temporary on that job and you was only making enough money to probably buy some food. You couldn't hold all the bills down working temporary. And it's like the same month she walked out on you, you got a permanent position at that job. And your pay increased by $5. That might not seem like a whole lot, but it was enough for you to pay the bills, where you was pretty much okay. Wait a minute. Was that a different job, or was that the job you at now? Oh yeah, it was that job. That same job that allowed you to stay in North Carolina and not have to move back to New Jersey. Yeah, it was that job. When your car broke down, that what was that, a Chevy Malibu you had? You remember that Malibu? When your car broke down and you got that other car, the car you driving in now, yeah, it's pretty old. It's a 2016. It was only 1 year old when you got it. At that time, wasn't that the newest car you ever had? Right. It's funny how everything that's good in your life is being connected to that job. I think that job might have saved your life. Well, listen, I gotta go. It was good talking to you. Hold your head up. And let me know whenever they hiring at that job. I'll talk to you later.